you've kind of taken the initiative and tried to create a website which is going to reveal the impacts of climate change now on the ground.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but it seems like every day I read the newspaper and I read about some climate change happening somewhere. Like just, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, a gray whale was sighted off the coast of Israel. Now, gray whales live in the Pacific Ocean. The only way that gray whale can get to Israel is by traveling through the Northwest Passage, which is a strait between islands on the north of Canada that has been blocked by ice for hundreds of years. And how only recently, in the last couple of years, has the strait been ice-free, allowing the whales to migrate through into the Atlantic Ocean and over to Israel. You'll read about, fungal parasites moving through the Pacific Northwest United States, or you'll read about a typhoon, or again and again and again. And I just started bookmarking them. Every time I read it, I bookmarked it, and I bookmarked it, and I bookmarked it, because I didn't know what to do with this, but I knew I wanted it bookmarked. And then at the same time, oftentimes when I'm working with people who are trying to talk to journalists about climate change, we need examples. So someone will say, quick, I need all the impacts of climate change in Illinois, or quick, I need to know how climate change is impacting agriculture production in the Eastern European. But there is no database of global climate change impacts. There isn't any. There's bits and pieces of it, but there's no online inventory of all the climate change impacts that are out there. And part of it is that there's hundreds, there's thousands, there's stunning amounts of them. And so putting something together would just be a Herculean task. And that's when I started thinking about the bookmarking, because they've got this thing called social bookmarking, where when you bookmark, you can share your bookmarks with other people, so they can see your favorites and what you've shared. And I realized we could do that here. Anytime I bookmark something as a climate change impact, I could share it with other people. And other people could share their bookmarks with me. And so soon we could have hopefully tens and dozens and scores and hundreds of people all bookmarking. And then you just have to set up some crazy fancy software to have it all flow into one database and have that database reflected in a nice, simple web page, and that's what we did.
And what's the website?
www.climatesignals.org. There's a tweet thing that goes with it on Twitter. Climate Signals is the if you want to follow it. And yeah, you can go to the website. It's experimental. It's a proof of concept site, so please forgive the unkemptness of it all. But if you go there and you find something wrong, email me, let me know. But yeah, you can go there and you can just click on a tag, because when you bookmark, you can tag it. You can tag it Nashville, Tennessee flooding, USA. And so when that bookmark is then transferred in the database, you can just click on Nashville, and all the bookmarks for all the climate impacts that have ever been recorded for Nashville will just pop up.
And you said this is a kind of a socially driven project. You're going to have people around the world, hopefully, tagging these stories. How can people get involved on that front? Is that on the website? Yeah,
there's an about thing on the website, and click on it, and it just sends an email to me. I'm it. There's nothing else going on. And I think one of the things is it's not like Wikipedia in that it's open to the whole wide world, because quite frankly there's a lot of folks unfortunately out there working in bad faith, who climate deniers and so forth. So it's not a public project in that sense. So, but yeah, no, we're very open to having people join us and have a discussion about it. And that's actually one of the first pieces of work I think we have to do, is have a conversation among the bookmarkers. Like, okay, what are the rules? How are we going to bookmark things together, and how will it work? Because, not every extreme weather event is caused by climate change. That's for sure. Everyone says that. But that doesn't mean that climate change isn't causing extreme weather events. Some people sort of, invert that logic. So we do need some rules to say, okay, what are the kind of extreme weather events that fit the pattern of climate change that we've already documented, that we already know is caused by climate change, or looking forward, fit the projection for what science tells us we'll see more of in the future. And the Nashville flood is a perfect example of that, the kind of extreme weather event that fits the pattern we have in the United States of heavy extreme precipitation in the spring in the southeastern United States, the lower Mississippi Valley, that we know is driven by changes in the regional climate, that's in turn driven by global warming. So it fits that pattern. It broke all kinds of records. No records, nothing on record in recorded history that's got anything like the flooding we saw there. And then further, the science has also done the modeling that we know we'll see more flooding like that in the lower Mississippi Valley, in that region of the United States in the future. And so really, it's a grim example of the kind of impacts of climate change that we're already experiencing in the US anyways.
So it sounds like an ambitious and potentially really exciting initiative. What do you hope what do you hope it will achieve? What would you like the results to be if this concept is proven successful and people start bookmarking? What would you like to be the outcome?
Well, I guess a couple things. One, I would like it just to be a resource. If people do want to know, hey, how is climate change affecting Nashville or Pakistan or Russia, they would have a resource that just didn't cost us a lot to put together, right? It's efficient. It's there's so few resources to go around these days. So that's one thing. I just hope it would be a cheap, efficient resource for everybody. But as I think about it, I think it could be used in other ways as well. Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a one-stop shop to find all the clean energy projects that there are around the world, right? With pictures and photos and interviews. So someone could do the same thing, but do it for clean energy projects. Because to my understanding, there's no global database inventory of all the clean energy projects that are around the world. And especially the kind of reports that strike people in the heart. Like, I think there are databases out there of all the peer-reviewed science journal articles out there about climate change, but they don't have the photos in them. They don't have the personal accounts in them. They don't have the eyewitness accounts. And those are the kind of pieces of the story that we need. I mean, unfortunately, we know that just telling the science story is not enough, because that science story has been told quite a lot. Yeah. And then there's also some pieces like that gray whale off the coast of Israel. That's not going to show up in any peer-reviewed science journal anytime soon. But I mean, seeing is believing. What more the heck do you need to see than, unfortunately, the Arctic ice melting in front of your eyes?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be potentially a really exciting initiative, and I know that there's lots of websites trying to bring this information together now, and to kind of make it socially driven like that. Something that if we can achieve it, and OneClimate's working on it as well, getting a community together and really kind of looking to push this agenda forward, then hopefully then there'll be some real scope for us to build a movement and to kind of encourage people to acknowledge the implications of climate change and then start to deal with them. So I think on that note, we'll wrap up, and I'll hand back to our UK studio. But Hunter, thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll speak to you again later in the week.
Right on.
Okay, thank you, Hunter. Cheers.
Bye.